Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm having a lovely day today. We are going to do some fun stuff today. Some stuff that's a little bit lighter than what we've been doing lately. I feel like the last few episodes we've done some really hefty mountain building. We've done a lot of talking about whether or not you're having fun in Minecraft, how not to get bored, that kind of stuff. I feel like today we're going to switch it up. We're going to do a redstone farm kind of deal, and it's going to be something fairly simple that you can build in your Minecraft worlds, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, pretty much. It is going to require a little bit of equipment from back home, though, so I am going to briefly dip back through the nether portal after I've gathered a few more rockets, because I'm running a little bit low on those, maybe go fix my elytra, and then we're going to come back to the snow biome here, and we're going to look for a fox. So back here at Founders Forge, we're going to grab some fairly basic supplies, including a whole bunch of white stained glass, which I'm only really going to use just so that we can see inside what the farm is doing. I also want to grab a little bit of red wool and a little bit of yellow wool, probably not even that much actually. We've got our redstone shulker box in here. I'm just going to check while we're here that we've got a decent amount of the components we will need. We should be okay with that. I'm going to buy a bunch more glass from the librarians while I'm here, just so that I have enough to surround this whole thing. And yeah, we're going to stain all of that white. Not really necessary for the farm, but it's just going to make it look a little nicer. And from wherever I can find them, which is probably going to be over here at the farmhouse, I need to grab as many eggs as possible, because we are going to make a brand new chicken cooker design, which is going to be a little bit better than this one, use some slightly different mechanics, and while I'm here, I might as well actually fix the problem with this one. But do I have any eggs in here? I do. I have a couple of stacks. Okay, very good. We will at least be able to get started over there with that. Yep, it looks like I've got a couple more stashed away in various of these chests as well. There's a few random chests in here that I am not entirely certain what is in all of them, but I think with what we've got, we should be able to make a start. Okay, not too bad. And the way we're going to fix this farm over here is actually probably going to let the baby chickens out a little bit here, but we need to replace the slab that they're standing on currently with one of these, a campfire. And the campfire is going to be unlit, so we're going to smash it with a shovel just to make sure that there are no flames. But the problem with this farm right now is that it's letting through a lot of raw chicken. Basically, the chickens in here are dying of entity cramming instead of being cooked regularly. And so in order to get around that, from what I understand, if you place an unlit campfire in there, it is a slightly different height to the height of the average slab, and that is supposed to make sure that all of the adult chickens end up standing on top of the campfire and getting burned up in the lava. So we are temporarily going to cause bedlam here by letting all of these guys out. Let's just take out that slab there. That's going to have the lava will fall down into there, but it should be completely harmless other than that. And then tap that, and hopefully the chickens should be able to stand up on the sides of these, which if we take a quick look at the hitbox of the slab, I guess the slab probably ended up in the chest here, did it? Or maybe it just burnt up in the lava, I don't know. But anyway, from what I understand, anyway, the dispenser in here, once it ends up dispensing a few of these eggs, should now eject the chickens onto this campfire, and from that, they should be able to stand up on the campfire and get burned up in the lava, and that should be a fix for our chicken farm. I haven't necessarily tested that fix for the chicken farm, though. That's just what I've been told, and if you're following the tutorial for that design, you might want to give that a try and let me know if you get any good results. For today, though, we're going to go back over to the ice biome, and the reason I haven't slept through the night so far is that I actually want to make sure I can go back via the Stronghold. I may have mentioned doing this previously, but this is actually what I've been doing every time I want to go back to the snow biome, because it's actually quite a distance to fly in the nether, and it's ever so slightly quicker to do it this way by going through to my Stronghold portal room. Having come through that portal, all I need to do is hop through in the end. We can fly up to reach the end portal in the center of the end here, and hopefully that should take us back to the last bed I slept in, which is at the snow biome. Yep, there we go. I'm out here right at the foot of the ski slope mountain. At some point while I'm out here, I also want to make a stray farm, because I feel like farming strays for their arrows would be kind of fun. But unfortunately, much like the husks we're dealing with in Skyblock, you actually have to build that in the open air, because strays do not spawn in caves. So we're going to have to build an open mob spawning platform that only works at night if we want to be able to farm strays, which I'm fairly certain you can get slowness arrows from, even if you don't kill them yourself. They just drop like regular skeletons drop regular arrows, but either way, it might be fun to create some sort of platform where we can take out the strays ourselves. There we go, got an extra arrow of slowness from that one. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the infinity aspect of the bow, but it's always kind of nice to be able to stockpile tipped arrows and stuff like that. The next thing I need to do is search through some of these boxes to see if I have anything I can use to lead a fox around, and it doesn't look like I do. I'll check if I have any slime in my redstone box, which I should do just so I can quickly make it myself a lead, because that's really the only way that you can get foxes to follow you around. Yep, of course, there we go. We got the slime there. A little bit of slime, a little bit of string. Okay, we're in business. We should now be able to trap at least one fox, and one fox should be all you need for this farm. We have a couple of other things that we need to put together in the short term, but I will probably put all of these materials in here for now, and we'll come back to those later. For now, I've grabbed enough material that I can just make myself a couple of fence posts so we have something to tie the foxes onto, and I'm fairly certain I saw one of our Arctic fox friends around here somewhere. They are white, so they will blend into the landscape a little bit, but with any luck, we should be able to catch one if we approach it. Maybe I should have brought some sweet berries with me. That might have been a good idea. Okay, sweet berries in one hand, leads in the other hand. I think we have a decent chance of finding ourselves a fox somewhere around here. There are a few cats up here on these mountains. Occasionally, they wander over from the village and just get stuck because they can't find their way down from blocks like that, but we are looking for a fox, and hopefully there should be a couple in the neighborhood. In fact, I think I see one taking a nap on top of this mountain here, and hopefully, yeah, I think he's probably run away because he's seen me, but yes, oh, nice and quickly we were able to get him. Okay, great. This is the mountain I've been working on most recently, and on my streams when I've been building these mountains, I have seen these foxes prowling around, so I'm happy I was able to get one. Hopefully we can take him down the mountain without him taking any damage. Just got to make sure he stays on the lead, and yes, these mountains are becoming death traps because I haven't lit up the interiors entirely yet. So, Arctic fox number one. I haven't got a name for this guy yet. I probably won't bother naming him for now, at least, because we don't need to make sure that he doesn't despawn. Foxes are passive mobs, technically speaking, so they shouldn't despawn the way hostile mobs do if we get a little too far away. That one, for a start, has been prowling around at this same area for a little while, and I think he is straining because he sees a rabbit over there. So I wonder if you could use the same mechanics. Yep, nope, he's definitely after that rabbit. I love the fact they get stuck in the snow. That's pretty adorable. Anyway, my friend, you might want to come over here, please. I know the rabbit's exciting to you, but I have other stuff to take care of today. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to lead this guy down into town, and this is actually going to be the way one of the restaurants in town is going to get its food. We're going to have an automatic fox-based chicken cooker that is going to be able to cook up the chicken. And how exactly is a fox going to be able to cook the chicken, you ask? Well, foxes are actually excellent chefs if you give them the right tools, and you'll notice that this fox is currently carrying rabbit hide in his mouth. The trick is going to be to get him to drop that rabbit hide and have him pick up a fire aspect sword. Because believe it or not, foxes are actually able to use the items they have in their mouths, and the effects remain more or less the same as the player using them. So in this case, we're actually going to be able to give this fox a fire aspect sword, and any chickens or rabbits, I suppose, he chooses to kill with it will actually die on fire and will drop cooked meat, much the same way as just attacking them as a player would do if you had a fire aspect sword. It means I have to go away and make myself a fire aspect sword, because I don't think I have one of those lying around, and I certainly don't want to give him this sword, but it doesn't have fire aspect to begin with. And I think what we'll probably end up doing is constructing a little pen here before we get the chickens moved in, just so the fox is contained, because the fox is definitely one of the more volatile elements of this farm. So I've gone to the ender chest, I've grabbed my redstone box, so we're going to take out a dispenser, we're going to get a hopper or two for this as well. I'll bring 4 with me for now. We might need a couple more, actually. Let's make it 6, might as well. And we'll need only a couple of components for this. We'll need 1 redstone dust, 1 redstone torch, and 1 comparator. And we got the dispenser there as well. That should be more or less everything we need for the time being, at least. We might expand this operation a little bit shortly. But the idea here is that we are going to have an output chest somewhere. I'm going to say that can be around here. We'll have a couple of hoppers going into that so that we can set the mechanism back here a little bit. We're going to put another hopper on top of here, and then on top of that, we're going to place a slab, and that is where the chickens are going to stand once they've been dispensed by a dispenser adjacent to this. Basically, in much the same way as they were in our original chicken farm. And around the outside of this, to make sure that none of those baby chickens will be able to get out, we are going to be building a glass box, and we're also going to do that a little way around the outside here just for purposes of decoration, making sure that the box is 2 blocks high on all sides, and we're going to place our dispenser facing in towards that slab like so. And even though the mouth of the dispenser looks like it is covered, it will still be able to dispense eggs. We're not going to use any of the eggs that we had in it quite yet, because we need to set up a couple of hoppers feeding into this dispenser which are going to contain all of the chickens. Or rather, they are going to be collecting eggs from all of the chickens which are contained on top of them. So we need to build this whole section out a little bit further. The whole thing is only going to be about 6 blocks long, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with 2 hoppers like that into a dispenser, facing in towards a slab on top of a hopper like so. Gonna grab some scaffolding out of the scaffolding box and build that up a little bit here, because we will need to make sure that this section here is separate from that section there. This section here is going to contain the fox that we just captured from over there, and this section here is going to contain the chickens, and we will need a glass box over the top of this. I'm going to leave 1 extra gap in there, and that's where we're going to be able to throw the chicken eggs for the time being. And I'm not going to set up the redstone quite yet, because we will need to breed up or produce a bunch more chickens, and that will probably involve just collecting any eggs that they produce right now from the dispenser manually and throwing them back in here until we are at capacity. The whole reason I have a 2-block space here and not a 1-block space is because that allows for more chickens, and 24 or more chickens standing in one space will start to entity cram, whereas with this amount of space you can have, in theory, 48, but probably a little bit more than that, because they are occupying less than the space of a full block. It's not like with cows where they have a large hitbox. Chickens have a small hitbox and a tendency to wander a little bit. So hopefully we should be able to get a whole bunch of chickens in there without really having to worry about the entity cram limit. Now I should have all of the eggs in here. So we're going to fire off a bunch of these and hopefully we get a lot of chickens out of them. 4. In total we got 4 chickens. Well, we got 5, but that one kind of ran away a little bit. I should hopefully be able to lead it back up here as long as I can grab a few blocks, and we might be able to get it in over the top here, but the fox was going for it a little bit. Yeah, it's straining at the leash. Luckily, the lead is keeping it in place. So yeah, we got a total of 5 chickens. Pathetic, I think, but I hopefully should be able to get a few more just by waiting for these ones to grow up, or maybe giving them a little bit of extra seed so they grow up a bit faster, and then maybe we'll be able to encourage them to produce a few more. In fact, while we're waiting for them to grow up, I will check if I have a fire aspect sword in here. No, I have Excalibur, Smite 5 sword, which I think is one I used to take down the Wither not too long ago. I will probably have to do a little bit of caving in the area, unless I've got... I think I might have some diamonds somewhere over here, and then maybe we could set up a little enchanting station, or maybe just find a fire aspect book from a villager nearby. See, I have this box of ores that I dug up while I was mining a bunch of the stone I was using to build the mountains. Let's see if we can fortune one of these. 1 diamond. Okay, of course we have to use another one. There we go. We got 2, no, 5 actually. That looked like 1 diamond that we got from that, but nope. I can put the rest of those back in there, and I guess we will use 2 of those to make ourselves a sword. And I think I left just about enough bookshelves in this house for me to assemble a decent enchanting setup and go for a fire aspect enchantment. If I could remember my way around this house, that would be kind of helpful. We've got 8 so far. We got another 6 in here, which takes us to 14, and I wonder if I left myself any books in the living room. Yep, of course I did, either side of the fireplace. Perfect. So let's grab 15. That should be enough for an enchanting setup. We can return those to the house when we're done. Break one of these ender chests down for the obsidian, and we can use the rest of these. Oh, we need a book, of course. Yeah, should be able to get a bookshelf from out of our village box in here if we have one. Yes, there we go. Okay, we have plenty of bookshelves in there. Of course, I didn't need to take down the ones inside the house at all. Not to worry, we can break this down to get the books, and we'll need one of those to make the enchanting table. And of course, I need a little bit of lapis for some enchanting. There we go. Put that back in there, and yeah, hopefully we should now be able to enchant that. I have a fire aspect 1 enchantment waiting for me in that enchanting table, so that actually worked out super well. And after getting a little bit of lapis together, I was able to get, yes, a fire aspect 1 enchantment for a diamond sword. Fire aspect 1 should be enough. Fire aspect 2 might be better, but hopefully the chickens should be killed relatively quickly, and I can return all the bookshelves to the house. And now, yeah, I don't know if we need to really give it a diamond sword, but of course that's going to do the most amount of attack compared to, you know, a stone sword or something like that. Fire aspect can only be put on swords as well, so there's no point in giving it an axe or something like that. But next, we should hopefully be able to breed up a few of these chickens, which is going to take a little longer than I expected, because these ones have not even grown up yet. So I'm going to spend a bit of time waiting for them to grow up off camera, sourcing a few more eggs if I possibly can, and hopefully we should be able to get the farm sorted after a quick break. Hey folks, welcome back. So this definitely took all evening, I would say. And one piece of advice I have when you're setting this up is if you want to get a lot of chickens in here kind of quickly, make sure you remember that chickens can be bred with seeds, because that's something that I just didn't do until I was probably a full stack of eggs in or more, and then I realized, you know what, yeah, I should probably just start breeding the adult chickens using seeds. So I went and punched a bunch of grass in the area, and we now have what I'm going to assume is a fairly decent amount of chickens. We're getting to the point now where there are eggs in this chest more often than not. As far as I can tell, they haven't started entity cramming yet, although they might when some of these smaller ones at the corners grow up. So either way, that's a sign that we can continue with the rest of the mechanism, and I'm going to take this hopper out because that's what's been channeling all of the eggs into this chest for me. So with that removed, we can actually start working on some of the redstone for this mechanism, and for that, I'm going to take out the wool, a redstone torch, a redstone dust, and a comparator. You don't need all of these redstone torches, I just picked them all up from my ender chest. So naturally, what we're going to be doing here is detecting the contents of this hopper here. Because both hoppers channel into the same hopper channeling into this dispenser, it's going to be nice and straightforward just to read a signal off of this hopper, and anytime anything passes through it, we activate a comparator, and that's going to stick out the front here. The reason I've got the red and the yellow wool is because I thought we could make this look a little bit like a chicken's beak and kind of the waddly part. I think that's what it's called, the waddle or something. I'm not quite sure, but the little kind of red dangly bit that happens underneath their beak. So we're going to put a piece of red wool there. I'm going to put the comparator facing outwards. Oh, in the snow, apparently. Put the comparator facing outwards on top of that block like so, and in front of that we can place a piece of yellow wool that's just going to be there to conduct the redstone signal. As you can see, like you saw just then, whenever something enters this hopper, it's going to be spat out once we connect this up to the dispenser. And the way the dispenser is going to work is by a fairly simple redstone torch burnout clock, which is something that we've definitely made before. I think we even have one in our previous chicken farm. So what we're going to do is place a piece of red wool there, pop a redstone torch on the underside of that, and then above the redstone torch in this space next to the dispenser, we're going to place our second piece of yellow wool, and then once we get out from underneath this, which I'm going to have to do by digging out underneath it like so, we can place a redstone dot on top of this piece here, and then we can remove this piece of wool here if we want to. I think that will probably look quite nice, and there you go. It sort of looks like a very transparent chicken head with the beak and the little waddle part underneath. And what that will do is every time this comparator activates because of an egg getting pushed through it, it will actually activate this redstone dust, updating the redstone dust and causing that burnout clock to pulse the dispenser 8 times. And when it does that, it's going to throw out any eggs that it already has in the dispenser, which is not always going to be 8 eggs, of course, so it's usually just going to throw out the eggs one at a time. But what that means is we end up with any eggs coming through the system automatically ejected into this space. Now I'm going to turn some of this wool into a carpet, and we're going to place the carpet over the top of that block. As you can see, the chickens' heads barely poke through that while they are still in their baby stage, and if you looked at the hitboxes for these chickens, wow, that's a lot of blue lines, you will see that the hitbox doesn't really extend to the full height of the chicken's model. It only extends to the full height of the body, which means that they are safe under there. If we put a fox in this space, we can make sure that the fox will not attack the baby chickens. However, once they grow up, the adult chicken's hitbox extends beyond the carpet, and the fox is going to be able to kill them when it is standing in that space. Now, the thing is, whenever mobs get killed, they typically drop the loot out of, like, the bottom section of their hitbox, and so the loot is going to end up underneath this carpet, is not going to be able to be picked up by the fox, and is immediately going to be picked up by the hopper underneath this slab and carried down into the chest. Oh, I got a redstone torch back from that somewhere. I broke one, I guess. But yeah, now we have a few eggs going on in here, but eventually we will end up with a bunch of cooked chicken and feathers ending up in this chest. Our final trick here is actually going to be getting the fox into this 1 block high space, which is going to be a little difficult considering the fox is going to be straining at the leash to go after the chickens, but I reckon we should be able to move it around here, and hopefully it will start targeting the baby chickens in here and walk in of its own accord. The fun part is going to be getting the fox to drop this piece of rabbit hide that it's already holding, and we're going to do that using some sweet berries. I'm pretty sure that the fox will go after any type of food and drop whatever is in its mouth in favor of picking up the food. So let's see if it goes for these sweet berries or if we have to use something else. There we go, it's got the sweet berries in its mouth and is now eating them. I've picked up the rabbit hide, so it cannot pick that up anymore and continue to hold that. And now we need to go and get that fire aspect sword, because if we give the fire aspect sword to the fox, it's actually going to be able to use that fire aspect sword killing the chickens. Let me go and grab that real fast, and I've also got a second lead here that I have a feeling I will need to use on this fox before it runs away. Let me untie this and let me grab the fox. Yes, very good. Ow, okay, I just stepped into the berry bush, and now, oh, the fox has a lead in its mouth. Okay, well, at least we know the theory of how we can get the stuff out of the fox's mouth, and we should be able to do that once it is in position over here. Now, hopefully hopefully we can lead it up this glass staircase and into this 1 block wide hole here. Give it a couple of nudges. Hopefully it will end up in the dish there. Perfect. Great stuff. And now all we need to do is make sure that it drops that lead. So I can break down this. I can grab the items out of the corner here, and I'll chuck some sweet berries in there with it. Hopefully it should be able to grab those. Yep, there we go. It's taking the sweet berries. I can pick up the lead through the corner, and then once it eats the sweet berries, we will chuck in the fire aspect sword. And then whenever any chickens grow up in this area, it's going to kill them automatically using the fire aspect sword, which should hopefully cook them. Yep, there we go. It's eaten the berries. Let's drop the sword in there, and let's see what the fox looks like with a sword in its mouth. That's pretty cool. If you look at it from underneath especially, you can kind of see that the sword is still sticking out there, and now we just have to wait for the chickens to grow up inside of there, and they should be automatically cooked by our new employee, the fox. Just going to close off the top of the tank here, making sure the fox is completely sealed in. Let's remove all of the glass from around the outside that we used as a staircase, and there we go. We have a chicken farm auto cooker. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, the fact that we are seeing entity cramming in there now means that the farm is at capacity, which is a very good thing because it means we're getting the maximum amount of eggs out of here. The problem, of course, being that if you have too many chickens inside that space, then potentially these chickens can start to entity cram when they grow up, and they don't immediately get killed by the fox. They get killed too quickly by entity cramming instead. But hopefully that won't happen. We should be able to get a decent amount of chickens going, and sooner or later the farm will stabilize and you'll only end up with cooked chicken inside of the chest. So now all that remains is to tidy up this area a bit, wait for those chickens in there to grow up, and then I should be able to show you guys the farm in action. Okay, folks, the chickens are now growing up inside of here one at a time, and if we stick around for a little while, eventually we should see this fox actually cook one of them, which has already happened a couple of times, which is great. I think it's probably just a case of these eggs all coming out at separate times, and so there's still a little bit of variation in exactly when the chickens grow up. But the good news is they aren't entity cramming inside of here. Despite the amount of baby chickens that we have in here, once one of them grows up, you should see the fox turn around, look at it, it gets cooked, and then the drops end up going into this chest rather than the fox being able to pick them up and eat them. That is working precisely as intended, and we even have our first customer. Wherever he went, the wandering trader seems to be around here. Yes, there we go, my friend. Apparently hungry for some chicken. What have you got today? Oh, okay. I think I might take advantage of one of these trades, actually, for once. I'm going to buy a bucket of pufferfish from you. Thank you very much, sir. And while we're here, there we go. That's what you get for coming around here offering me all this useless junk all the time. Thanks for the free leads and leather, though. Appreciate it. All right, folks, I think that is probably where we're going to wrap up this episode. We have a chicken cooker over here, which is great. Oh, we do have a couple of chickens still dying in there of entity cramming. I'm fairly certain that's what it is. Luckily, none of the chickens in here are dying, and we've already got a decent supply of cooked chicken coming through. That is absolutely excellent, and it's going to mean that when I eventually run out of golden carrots, I don't need to trek all the way back to my base and trade with some farmers in order to get a decent supply of food for the mountain project. But that is going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. I do hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.